Hello, everyone. Welcome to Todd Talks. I am joined today by Jim Davis. With Jim Davis, we're talking about the new Unearthed Arcana.
Oh yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Ooh. Part 3. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do here.
First of all, who do we need to like talk to figure out what is coming down the pipeline? We've got these 3.
Oh, I know, but I'm not going to say.
I know that you know.
Because they'll kill me.
They will. I'm sure that's what those infernal contracts were in Baldur's Gate.
I've signed so many infernal contracts.
Yeah.
Watsy, that
I'm sure.
No.
All those rumors in the 80s were true. Oh my God.
I live too close to Wizards of the Coast to get away with that stuff. So,
yes.
Okay. We all know I get very excited for subclasses, and my mind changes every moment. Everyone from people from Idle Champions and Chris Dupuis and everyone who watches the show knows I get very taken. I love character concepts. I come up with them a lot, and I never get to play D&D. I'm always running games, which is playing, but still.
Yes.
That said.
Here we
go. So I have always loved Artificers. The very first art I commissioned of my character Averin is an Artificer. He's got blunderbuss, the whole deal, the armor. I am hugely into Iron Man since middle school, and I took a personality test and it says I'm Iron Man, which maybe means I was a jerk as a middle schooler. So I'm very excited for the Artificer Armorer for a lot of reasons. Number one, conceptually, who doesn't want to play powered armor? This is perfect.
Right.
I know. I'm just gonna say, I don't feel that this is remotely overpowered. I think there's some synergies. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of headed, unfortunately, off. Right when it comes to multi-classing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about overall? And we'll dive into how I would play this.
I would say overall, it's a I mean, I don't like using superlatives like perfect or flawless, because there's plenty of ways in which it could be modified, and I would do so. But in terms of just a complete package of concept supported by rules that are both innovative and give you a variety of choice, it's got a lot to offer. And for someone who likes to engage with the game in a variety of different modes, right? You don't want to be pigeonholed into I'm always the tank or I'm always the blaster or whatever. Having the ability to switch it up and have so much customization through magic item selection, how you modify your armor on the fly, how much of your original body do you need in order to count as a being inside a suit of armor is my first question. But that's jumping ahead a bit, isn't it? I really like this. I like it conceptually. Pruitt had a sort of an evoker way back in Tyranny of Dragons, Rise of the Tiamat, and we just reskinned evoker to be Iron Man, but it's basically a wizard. And that's one of those things where I think here this is absolutely perfect and would have fit that concept of I think Antonia de Stark was his character's name.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Pruitt. He was very on the nose back then. But yeah, I love this. I love it. I'm ready to do a show just on this one. I feel like that poor druid and ranger might not get. Just warning you. And I'm gonna do a follow-up video about this on my own because this is how obsessed I am with this character concept. I totally agree. It thematically, it's totally solid. There's nothing that feels off. I love that you can attune to more items. I certainly always took the Artificer as okay, well, you have all these magical items, but you can fit them into your armor. I was already playing an Artificer that way. A character. Good names are hard to find, but a giant murder bot. Originally, he was just called Murder Bot by my wife, who she was a Tinker Gnome Artificer, and she found a helm of telepathy one day
and then assembled the sentient helm of telepathy with other things like sap and other magical items, and that became Rend, the murderer bot.
Yes.
And I've always been in love with kind of magical fallout, right? The idea that and this is why I like the Blood Hunter as well, is that magic, you know, eventually these sentient magical items become sentient, you know, whether they're on purpose or not. That's fantastic. What if one starts to build itself? Right. And that's what Rend is. And I've been using the Warforged as kind of a base, and then Artificer on top of that. This is perfect in every way for that character concept.
My first one was also a Warforged art. Like immediately was like, this is my war machine, because currently I had them more as like a battlesmith, but you know, with their sort of their defender always being part of them, or like a part of them that can be detached. But I like this much more in terms of like they might even switch their core between various suits. Just, you know, a magical robot is awesome, and this is a class that really gives you a lot to work with.
I think, and I plead to all dungeon masters who may run into this character that I'm going to play for the rest of my life, do allow artificers. They're fantastic, and they can fit into any world if you shove them in hard enough. The other class that I'm thinking of, and I think I don't even know what race I would pick for them. Maybe I haven't decided yet. Is like Ghost Armor, because you could easily reskin this to be like the spirit of a dead warrior who's come back to inhabit their armor, and like all the spells you get, all the other stuff is just your manifestation of supernatural power. Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be steampunk. It doesn't have to be science fantasy. Like I know that Artificer carries with it some sort of you know, aesthetic baggage that some people don't like. But it doesn't have to be.
No, I like the supernatural aspect obviously a lot more. And I remember I specifically requested, and Chris Perkins was kind enough to respond. And this was a few years ago when I was working on this concept. I didn't want to play Warforged, and I'm like, hey, I just want to play a pile of junk, and he sent me stats, and I used those for a really long time. Doesn't synergize with this so much because it had blind sight, but only out 60 feet. So, but I mean, blind sight, right?
Yeah, sure.
It was a very novel concept, and you know, whatever, you can still stick with it. I'm gonna go and let's go and dive into.
Let's dive into it.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Now, what's really interesting to me is, again, they flat out say your armor is basically living armor.
Yeah.
I really like the interchangeable nature of this. I like the spell. The spell selection is fantastic. If you want to be Iron Man, or you want to be any kind of blasty blast, suit of armor, magic missile, shield, absolutely both of those. Mirror image is a little surprising.
I see, when I think of it as like, when I think of like mirror image, hypnotic pattern, and greater invisibility, and I think of like potentially the construct's ability to manipulate light as a way to project or create certain illusory effects.
Right.
Like if I can shoot laser beams, can I not also manipulate light enough that I can go invisible?
Then you're looking at the Predator kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can do a Predator suit there. Mirror image is cool because it's like a defensive, like, you know, it kind of like multiple versions of the armor come out. Hypnotic pattern is like an outlier, but even then, if you think of it as like, oh yeah, my armor totally is just going to be dazzle. It's like a disco ball. It just dazzles.
Right. And like, or a blinding flare that hypnotizes. Lightning bolt is really on theme. Fire shield, super on theme. Greater invisibility, totally. Again, this is you projecting. You're super projecting. You know, illusion. It's really fun.
It's really cool.
Pass wall. Fantastic. Wall of Force, fantastic. I love all of these. These are fantastic.
Yes, very cool. Very cool.
I think Mislead's too high, right? That's a 5th level spell, so...
Yeah, I think Mislead would be... That's the one that sort of like leaves an illusory double and then you go invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Loki, as I call it now.
Loki. I love that one. That's one of my favorites. That one in Project Image.
The Kill Coulson.
Yes.
This is called Mislead, Kill Coulson.
Right. I appreciate. Now, I will say, for those of you who are like into design and stuff, like the whole sidebars in this particular UA are really fun because it's like they tell you, sort of give you an insight into like why and what sort of spells end up on different subclass spell lists, or how bonus actions are supposed to work. The order of operations of like resistance to immunity or whatever was really fun. That's just a tangent. If you're curious, I liked those. But yes, back to the armor.
Yeah, so what I like is that they've gotten very good at third level. You are what you're supposed to be, and I think like 5th edition D&D is typically very good about this. You see the same thing
tutorial levels, and then at third level you are who you are.
Yeah, at beast, like Beast Barbarian is the same way. You get claws and teeth and a tail, like if you want. Of course you want that. Rune Knight, same thing. You have to get big at third level, otherwise you're not Rune Knight.
No.
Right, you're not the giant dude that you want to play so badly. No. Assassin needs that assassin feature at third level. Like it just goes on and on. At third level, if you're not what you want to play, you can't make people wait till 10th level. And so
that's a good point. That's a good point. Most of my concepts, they work at both 3rd and 20th level. Like they need to.
This is why I don't multi-class so much, because that's not always going to happen for me. I'm just excited to play it all. So yeah, you get a powered armor. You get this at 3rd level. The fact that you can, if your armor normally has a strength requirement, you don't need that. It's pretty huge. I've had to play a lot of especially with the new UA for warlocks, because I was trying to use this concept with warlock because they have a new UA where they can actually imbue their armor and have it just attach to themselves, but you need that strength 13, which doesn't synergize so well with Hexblade, but still, I feel like that's a cool cost. You can use power armor as your spell casting focus. Absolutely, of course you'd want this. The powered armor attaches to you and cannot be removed. Again, this works so well for my concept of just a hollow man, who is just their armor. It also expands to cover your entire body, even if you lose a limb, and can basically replace it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
That is, I just am stuck. Like when I think of
thematically beautiful and also not OP.
Right. Well, when I think of regenerating limbs in D&D, this is reserved for a handful of items and high level spells, because if you ran into a sword of sharpness, certain monsters could take your limbs off. You could get an adamantine limb if you visited the Drow and wanted to put up with their shenanigans to get one. But the idea that you're a living person inside this suit of armor, and then your arm gets taken off or a leg gets taken off or something, and your armor just starts to regrow around it and provide virtual functionality that's you don't need this. That's really cool. I really that sold me. I read this bullet point, I was like, I'm sold. If I was on the fence now, I'm definitely sold. That's really awesome.
It's such a good theme, and it doesn't it's not overpowering in any way at all. It's just good flavor. That's I believe Ben Petrosor was the main on the lead on this particular subclass. And then on top of this, I'm a little surprised you get even more bang for your buck at 3rd level armor model. You can choose to basically be Guardian, or you could be the Infiltration. The Infiltrator. So Guardian is really cool because you get Thunder Gauntlets. This allows you to strike with your gauntlets, doing 1d8 thunder damage. I can only assume your strength or intelligence can apply to these damage attacks as well. This is interesting because you give disadvantage to any attacks that aren't against you. So you're kind of like the defender. You're kind of a tank.
You want to be hit with this one. I think we kind of skip past it, but you obviously get heavy armor proficiency, so you're encased in plate and all that other stuff. You're using your intelligence in place of your strength or your dex.
Right.
You probably still have a good strength anyway. If you're synergizing your class options, and this makes you. This is I'm trying to think of other things that call back to 4th edition, right? And the marking ability and things like that. There's certain spells that do that, or combinations, but off the top of my head, I'm really struggling to see something that's always on demand. This happens every time I attack you, a kind of feature. And this is, I don't know.
This might get scaled down.
I can see that. I was like, really? But especially with extra attack.
It's not great for you. It's great for your team.
Yeah.
but it does make them have to attack you. And if you got a friend that's got Sentinel,
ooh, yes, fun
fighting
times.
alongside you, that's the one too. That's the 1-2 combination. It's just rock'em sock'em robots when you So I love the Thunder Gauntlets. I wouldn't be shocked if they nerf it a little bit, but it's really cool. And then you get defensive field. As a bonus action, you can get temporary hit points equal to your level in this class. Replacing any temporary hit points you already have. Obviously, this could get really nasty if you're like trying to layer other. I mean, you just can't layer temporary hit points. So it's good.
Sure.
It's good to remind people.
I was gonna say, I was thinking about this, and so far all of the Artificer subclasses have a major feature for your bonus action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's either for your pet or something like that. And this one skipped me. I passed by it the first time because this is your bonus action every time. It's I'm just all right. I'm topping myself off.
Yeah.
And especially if you took heavy armor master, which I might snatch up, right. So that now I'm taking -3 off of that, and I've got temporary hit points. It starts to make sense why everyone I hit is incentivized to hit me, because I've got AC, auto renewing temp HP, and with the feat, even more damage reduction.
It's a great tank.
Yeah.
And this is what you want to play as a mech. You want to be
fun. It'd be fun. Yeah. High constitution, take tough at some point. Sure.
Yeah. I love tough. So then we have the infiltrator, which lightning launcher. You have a small gem-like node that appears either on your fists or your chest. I mean, super Iron Man. Why be coy, right?
Right. Yeah. At this point.
If you really want to have a lot of fun, also check out, look up anything like medieval Iron Man armor suits.
There's a lot of fun stuff.
Iron Man suits, arcane. You'll see some great concept art.
Yeah.
There's so many versions of the Iron Man suit that work so well for this. It counts as a simple ranged weapon, normal range of 90 feet, and can go as long as 30 feet. Holy cow. It deals 1d6 lightning damage on a hit. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with it, you can deal an extra 1d6 lightning. This isn't overpowered. You're getting, eventually when you hit 5th level, you got 2 attacks with these attacks.
Yeah.
And then you can do a little extra lightning.
Right. It's like sort of cleric, except you're having to spend your bonus action and you get it earlier.
It's interesting that it's the infiltrator in the way that lightning is not subtle.
It's not, is it? I would have it's an air dart or something.
I'm still okay with it. I like the lightning. So power steps, you get the extra 5 feet. That's really nice. Second skin, though, this is where things get pretty cool. Your armor weight is completely negligible at this point. It becomes form-fitting and wearable even under clothes. This means you can be wearing full plate under your clothes. If the armor normally imposes disadvantage on dexterity stealth checks, that power armor does not, which, boy, being a very roguish, stealthy type of person when I'm playing characters, that's a chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's worth picking up a stealth proficiency, and it's one of those things where it's there's not you can pick it up, I guess, through background, and some of the racial options will get it, but it's worth snatching it up at some point, because this is really fun. I miss the wearable under clothing, because for a minute I was the one thing that stands out for this subclass is it doesn't have a instant armor up kind of ability, right? It doesn't have something where it's I press a thing, a rune, or I say a word and my armor just appears on me, which I kind of like, because it suggests that putting on the armor is a ritual thing, or it's a process. You can't just rush these things.
And the Warlock already has that.
Yeah, the Warlock already has summon things out of nowhere.
UA, yeah.
And so this is the closest to it, though, because it's all right, it's just sort of under my clothes or my robe or whatever it is I'm passing myself off as, a disguised self. And then this is under here, so it doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't give it away that I'm not, But
it's better than mithril armor.
Right. Yeah. You could be wearing this underneath a ball gown or a masquerade attire or something like that.
And that's where already at 3rd level, I'm thinking of multi-classing, and I'm probably not going to do it because I'm becoming kind of a purist about classes and not multi-classing as much. boy, it is hard not to be an arcane trickster and this.
That's 6th level before you get both, but yes, I agree.
It is 6th level before you get both. They're both intelligence. You got dexterity here. That means you can sneak attack with your lightning. So if you're infiltrator, you can sneak attack with your lightning launcher. That is already at 6th level, going to bump up to 3d6 and then a 2d6 if you do the lightning on the second attack. And you're doing that every round.
I like that.
And I like the look of that. You can sneak in full plate.
You can sneak in full plate.
You can sneak in full plate, and sneak attack in full plate is pretty mean. Then, if you don't want to do infiltrator though, and you may be wondering like, why would I do arcane trickster? If you're arcane trickster, there is a lot of overlap in the spells that isn't, like. It's just that you don't need. However, you are getting green flame blade and booming blade.
Booming blade.
So if you're using your thunder gauntlets,
oh man.
Okay. And you're doing either of those on top of this and defensive field. I mean, you're just burning everyone around you, or you're hitting someone and walking away and daring them to move after that.
Right.
Which controls the battlefield even more.
I'm liking this more and more, although I'm thinking that it's primarily rogue. That I'm having a hard time seeing like why I would go more into artificer with this one.
Yeah.
Because eventually I'd be like, oh man, you getting uncanny dodge with that would be pretty sick too.
It would. You're nasty.
Yeah,
you're a nasty person to tango with.
Man,
you're impossible to hit already, and now you're impossible for saving throws. So we get extra attack at 5th level. Again, I'm probably not going to do it just because I want to get to these other features.
Yeah.
Armor modifications. You learn how to use your Artificer infusions to specifically modify your armor to enhance your power armor feature. That armor now counts as a separate item for the purposes of your infused items. Featured armor, the chest piece, the boots, the bracers, and the weapon. I know there's some questions on Reddit about like, do bracers count as gloves?
Sure.
So I'm sure they're going to rework the wording to make sense of this. Basically, any of the magical items that are your infusions are your armor. I would do this anyways.
Yeah.
I like that you are getting a bonus though for the amount of infused items. So I can see, obviously I'm going to get gauntlets of ogre power, even though I really don't need them for this build at all, right?
Yeah. I was trying to think of what other gauntlets or bracers or something like that I would use.
If you're going ranged, well, the
bracers of archery.
Yeah, those aren't just. Yeah, those are just for arrows though. So.
Oh yeah.
Missile snaring just for fun.
Yeah,
right?
Or if you're fulfilling the thief role, you could do like the gloves of was it thievery or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that builds more into the infiltrator. You're talking about like your enhanced weapon can be part of this now, right? So I kind of almost imagine a longsword that just pops out of your wrist blade kind of thing.
Yes, a shoulder cannon, light crossbow. Heavy crossbow.
I would go full Iron Man with this. I would go shield, which was super cool, by the way. And for Iron Man, the repulsor shield, I'd have a long sword or short sword. Probably short sword, actually, if you want to use the infiltration mode. No, there's no reason for that. But if you're doing the rogue thing, and then you got like me, have disguise and some other weird cool things. I would do. Is it parafafat? I don't know. Whatever allows you not to die. That's
the
like
jeweled brooch.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would put that in there.
That you stole from your grandmother's tchotchke.
Clearly. And then 15th level, the capstone's not really that massive to me, right? Like perfected armor.
Yeah, it doesn't like. To me, it's a fulfillment of sort of what you can do. You get a little bit extra, right? The Guardian has that sort of scorpion get over here kind of move where you can pull them towards you, which up until now, that's really been the purview of hex blades.
Really?
As far as like pulling enemies closer to you. And then Infiltrator looks like you get like your lightning launcher basically supercharges the target. They shed light, and then someone has an advantage, and then they deal extra lightning damage to them.
I'm okay. I'm okay with all this. The Artificer Armorer I love because I don't care what they do with it. I'm just glad they're doing it.
It's cool. Yeah, I really like it.
It's a good concept. I think the capstone is actually pretty solid. If you want to play, I mean, and yeah, I've watched The Mandalorian over like 100 times. I've got so many Boba Fett. I still have my Boba Fett from when I was, 5 back there. If you like The Mandalorian, this is also the Mandalorian build.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And armor is a very big part of that show, so I recommend you watch that.
Yeah, I also like this for dwarves. Like to me, there's like the battle rager way of going about it, right? Like they're just bladed out, they don't wash, they're grotesque, they're like all the stereotypes of dwarves. But then this could almost be like a runesmith type, where you're etching runes and marks of power, like oaths to the honored dead on your armor, and they're just a tanky vault guardian dwarf.
This is also like that concept of my character Rend again, of like, once they were human, but every once in a while something got carved off, right? Like they lost a hand. It's that Darth Vader slowly acceleration to nothing.
They went adventuring, they faced down the monsters of D&D Monster Manual, and they became a shell of their former selves.
Well, I mean, hey, this is the best way also to get if we want to talk about Marvel, if you want to get Iron Man back and just have Robert Downey Jr. voice things now, his personality downloaded into a suit, an empty hollow suit would be pretty dope, Marvel, and that's the core concept I love. I think this is fantastic. I wouldn't there's a lot of great opportunities to multi-class out of this, and I'm sure people are going to find ways to abuse this. I've already found a way to abuse it. However, I wouldn't do it, because hey, life is short. Multi-classing takes time.
Multi-classing takes time. I mean, it's an expensive dip, right? Like there are a lot of classes that could make a lot of use out of magic plate mail that has a variety of uses, but I think to me, that kind of multi-class is like, am I starting the campaign at 7th level or higher? Then I might do it. Otherwise, I probably would just straight 20.
Yeah, but I would
especially 5th edition.
Yeah, and the spells, and when you look at the rest of the Artificer spell list, now I'm a little surprised there's not anything. It's so tanky. There's no smites.
There's no smites. There's no stone skin type effect. Or is that on the main Artificer list? Stone skin. I always forget.
Well, certainly smites are not. And I believe branding smite is one that can be used for both melee and ranged weapons. And there's not a lot. There's only 2 smites that allow you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And branding smite's one of them. So we have some questions from chat.
Let's answer some.
What do you think is a way to play the new armor subclass against type? I would say insect armor. The armor is still alive and has infected you and is slowly eating you from the inside out.
Yeah, like you're becoming a xenomorph.
You're becoming the carapace.
Yes, I love that.
So I love that. I would go full on like, oh man, do you remember the really bad Lost in Space with Gary Oldman?
Yes.
When he needed that money, he becomes an insect. With Matt LeBlanc,
with
and
Matt
Heather
LeBlanc.
Graham. Why am I remembering? And William Hurt. Like, it's the movie that should never happened. But I
don't remember that movie at all.
That he became infected by a spider space race and slowly
eats him from the inside out.
I think that's how you do it. I think that's how you do it. What else you got?
I think I might do something like halfling, and then it's like luck based. Right, so like these are my lucky boots.
Oh, fun!
Right, Whoa. Like this is my lucky vest, and it keeps me safe, or something like that. And then it's all reskins and like I love Artificer as a person who just has they just know how to do things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you take that root over there and you boil some water and do this and mix with that, it'll make this thing. And so that to me, that's a very homey, halfling-y trait to have, or goblin-y. But in this case, to do halfling. And it's just like, this is my lucky hat. This is my lucky chain shirt. and it's just a rusted old, like worn, two generations old armor kind of thing, but it protects his plate mail because it's lucky, That's how I do that. Yeah.
I became very obsessed with the concept of making one of the best D&D characters of all time, Spurt the Kobold, making his younger brother out for revenge. I called him Dribble. Chris Perkins gave him another name.
Nice.
But I was like, how do I kind of if I wanted to make a Kobold Inventor, which is like one of the best monster stat blocks in D&D, Artificer's great for that because you're infusing an item. So you can have a spear with a scorpion at the end of it, and that is your magical enhanced +2 spear as an artificer, and it's totally legal. Like it works for the game. So you can make the artificer really super weird with like halfling nonsense or kobold nonsense, things that shouldn't work. Like if you can say you're throwing an acid potion when you're using acid splash.
Oh yeah. And if you're ever hurting for like inspiration for those kind of things, there's like, this is where the internet and just the churning mass of all the DMs out there on Reddit and different blogs and stuff who take those old boring +1 weapons.
Yeah.
The ones that like after you get your first one of them, you're like, oh, it's just +1. And it suffuse them with a sense of mystery and magic. So it's like, yeah, it's mechanically it's just +1, but it's a scorpion on the end of a stick. It's an ancestral blade infused with whatever. Like,
then you fall so much out with it. Like it doesn't need to be a +5. I'm so glad we're past the +5 issue.
Yes.
And I really want more. And certainly we're going to see this with the vestiges of divergence in Wildmount when that comes out. But like I like magical items to scale with characters actually, so you grow attached.
Yeah. That's something I'm really excited to see because I liked it in Tal'Darai, and getting to see it in an official book would be really sweet.
So we got a lot of questions about this. What would there be a way to make an armor be hidden in plain sight? Absolutely, there's a lot of ways. You can decide to be a deep gnome, which I have another character concept I was working with that is a non-artificer, but deep gnomes are they can get near stone and just disappear. The infiltrator mode works really well for this, and invisibility is part of the artificer general spell list.
Yeah.
So if you want to hide in plain sight, I was just actually talking to Jim right before the show. The concept for Rend again is an animated piece of armor, and for part of his race, I wanted him not only to be able to disassemble and be kind of useless, but also to be mistaken for a suit of armor, which is an ability of animated armor, and it's so low-hanging, not very powerful type of ability for a race. I thought that would be really fun. So custom make something and see if your DM is okay with it, because all the ways that you want to make this happen are kind of hilarious and weird, and I don't think horribly abusive, though. And eventually, come on. If I walked through my house and there was a suit of armor that I didn't recognize, I would be suspicious. So
where did that come from? I do like the idea of like either that or like being able to split yourself up amongst multiple, like, okay, I'm going to be, you take my boots.
You can choose one limb of yours to go somewhere, so you can basically turn your gauntlet into a crawling claw.
It's like that old bed knobs and broomsticks Disney movie, like just shaking out your boot and all
the bolts come out.
Yeah.
That movie has come up so much in the last 2 weeks.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Jeremy Crawford, and we were talking about it because of the Bard School of Creation.
Oh yeah.
Bed knobs and broomsticks came up big time.
Very much.
Interview. So that's there's plenty of ways to make that happen. They're already in that zone. Clearly, the infiltrator helps with that. What is your take on the second skin for the infiltrator? Druid's wild shape, yea or nay to armored wolf? Oof.
Ooh.
Whoa, does that translate? Do you get the armor bonus as a druid?
I don't think that you get the bonus for any equipment that you have unless it's magical. Maybe.
Well, because they're thinking of as an ability of your class.
No, it's just flavor wise.
Yeah, it gets a little weird.
Yeah. I suppose it would be like like to me, a druid, a nature themed artificer is possible.
Yeah.
Right. There's all kinds of ways to do a nature themed
transformer.
Yeah, easily. And so having it be that, like, if a player came to me and was like, all right, I went through the trouble of having this many levels of artificer, nature themed, and this many levels of druid, like I want cosmetically to have some kind of, benefit, or even just like, I don't know, it looks different, right? Like my wolf is covered in like bony plates.
Yeah.
Or maybe like knotted, extra muscles, or like, they're just bigger or something.
Right.
I might, I don't see it being too much of an issue, but it might not be like, I might not do the full plate armor bonus, because part of the benefit of wild shape is you have these extra pool of hit points you can dip into if you need to. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this would require me to bust out some rule books.
That's a good class
would be a lot of dead air.
You get infused item simulacrum, and not simulacrum. You get your infused item homunculus, and that's part of your armor then technically, and that pops out you like Soundwave.
Yes,
one of the best robots of all time. My wife actually got me the action figure from the 1980s. Yeah, so you get yourself Soundwave, man.
Yeah.
You just have a little thing pop out of your chest. You got that. That's pretty cool. That's another way to play this. I'm doing it now.
Or your hand.
Or you're just
that could be your hand.
Or you're a Russian nesting doll and you just open up and another one of you comes out.
Oh my God. I love that. I love it just as like I'm a dwarf and I just go rigid and half of me hinges open and a smaller one of me comes out.
Just the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, it's very fairy tale. That's
yeah. Could you integrate arm blade into your armor? I would totally rule for that. I mean, they've flat out said that you can, if one of your infused items is like a longsword +2 or +1, whatever, it's part of your armor. I would kind of make that arm. I mean, for flavor, I don't feel like it makes a big deal unless you're doing like subclassing into assassin and then you're getting kind of gamey about it.
Yeah, the only thing I could see is like there's artificer infusions that, like the new ones here, that give you like a tool or thieves tools or something that integrate into the armor.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got like the magic item arm blade, that like for Warforged, I can see that. I mean, I certainly allow it.
I think it's an easy thing to do with the fact that you do have limbs that you can replace. I mean, you'd have to. I'd be fine with it if it was just its own magical item, right? Without the +2, it's just arm blade.
Yeah,
I think that's obviously that's a magical item on some level. So I think that's how I would do it. If you want to put a restriction on it. Question for the Mando build: can you artifice a jetpack infused with levitate? Or I don't know what that is. I know what levitate is. I don't know what the next word is. As an extra armor piece, then well, you can infuse it if you use boots of levitation, or I'm not sure if that's on the list, but boots of flying are winged boots. Allow you to fly. So there's your jetpack function. Also, the artificer does come with the fly ability.
Right.
So
magic missile simulates the whistling sparrow or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So yeah, it's doing a Boba Fett build is very easy with this particular subclass, as well as doing an Iron Man build.
Yeah. Black Panther works really well.
Black Panther works really exceptionally well, especially with like the slimness of it. If you want to get away from the bulkiness, and you get that bonus to jumping and a bunch of other things that happens in Black Panther that make a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome if you got like the druid ability to get the claws. But yeah.
Ooh, yeah. If that was my character, I'd easily just go magic initiate, pick up the druid.
Yeah, pop. And that's the other thing is you can go magic initiate. Like if you just want booming blade and green flame blade, just go magic initiate, grab that from the wizard spell list, and then you have it.
Yeah.
You don't need to dip into Arcane Trickster, and I would argue more in the favor of that, just for being able to scale up.
For being able to do it. There's a bit of a mad thing going on with Primal Fury and Wisdom.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, this is one of those where, as long as I'm not in Adventurers League, I'm having a chat with my DM and just being like, hey, come on.
Yeah,
this is
you just outfitting different spells.
Yeah.
And there is some spell items that let you do little interesting things. Some person was asking, does anyone feel like this class should have Armor of Agathis? I don't, because it already has that Tinking temporary hit points ability baked into it.
Sure.
There is a magical item that you can actually choose, and I forget the name of it right now. I think it might be an Eberron, where you can actually make a dice roll and cast any warlock cantrip. It's kind of a finicky spell, magical item.
I was actually looking at magic armors for this. I like Mizium armor from Ravnica. For it, just both for the look and for the abilities that it grants you.
Do you think an Artificer Armorer and Barbarian Battle Rager would work well together, making a suit of spiked power armor?
Gotta be medium, right?
Yeah.
So it's medium armor. In order for it works in that sense. You could have sort of a suit of it's, to me, if I was going to do it, they would be like that would be, I would combine the two concepts. Like the armor is what fuels the rage, like maybe it's cursed armor, or something like that. There's
like Farscape where they have the gauntlet, and this. Man, I'm going old school with this. So there's a gauntlet in Farscape, not unlike the Infinity Gauntlet. Really, it's kind of big and bulky, but it injects you with a set amount of certain drugs during the day that you become addicted to your gauntlet, and your gauntlet allows you to do all kinds of different things. Makes you more powerful. Like that, shoots laser blasts. So that could work. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I could do that as long as it's like medium armor. In that sense, it's like a breastplate or something like that. And then if you didn't want to rage, then it could easily be heavy armor, and you're just not raging right now when you're wearing it.
Yeah.
And you take off a piece of it and rage or something,
So I have a feeling that we're going to do part 2 of this talks on the other subclasses, because we have 15 minutes left. Do we have any questions in chat about or concerns about the Artificer Armorer of any kind that we can discuss right now?
We can do that, or we can go through the infusions too. We still have
we've got that's perfect. Yeah, let's go to the infusions, and we'll make this entire episode about
this is worth it. Like this, it
really is. So walk me through some of these new Artificer infusions that have been included.
So this gives other artificers a bit of taste of the armor flavor, as I see it, or further enhances your armor's abilities, depending on how you like it. So there's 5 of them, looks like, and they are armor of magical strength. This basically is like anytime you would make a strength check or a strength saving throw, you can use your intelligence. And then the armor has 4 charges. And anytime you would be knocked prone, you can use a reaction to expend a charge and then not be knocked prone, regaining charges at dawn. So that's even more like Hulkbuster.
Just going toe to toe with a hexblade, like smite me.
I don't think so.
I'm like, well, you're not knocking me down.
Then the question is knocked prone, like could I use this might be one where it's like, can I spend 2 charges and like not move at all? That's one where I might allow an off-label use.
That could save your life. Like something just pops out of your armor and like prevents you from getting knocked out from Eldritch Blast.
Oh yeah. We forgot Venom. Venom could be done despite there's many reasons we would forget Venom, but
you know what? I don't know what's wrong with me, and that's because I love ooze. I've actually made with the help of a friend, worked on a kind of venomy subclass. We'll see if that ever sees the light of day, but it's really cool. But yeah, this also works very well. If you want to play that venom oozy thing, I love ooze.
They're great.
I would play an ooze in D&D if I could. I would play a sentient weapon, clearly,
easily,
or an ooze, because I'm not in it for being. I won D&D. I killed all the things. Like totally happy being inanimate.
Exactly right. Like I'm there with you on that, as well as like a sentient animal.
Yeah,
I just
an awakened bush. Like just
this. Yeah,
throw me in there.
So,
man, split the kobold, animate the slime. So that You have the collective intelligence of Spurt's brother and Spurt at the same time as the green slime. Make it real.
Let us play oozes and the blob and all grotesque things.
Then, okay, you awaken the green slime, and then it classes into this.
Yes.
And the ooze is wearing armor. You're welcome, internet.
It just oozes and seeps through the seams.
Oh, it's so gooey. Like you crack it open, and it's like a Cadbury egg.
Cadbury egg.
You're like, sorry, I didn't mean to take your armor off. Never mind, putting it back. It's so much worse than I thought. So much worse.
Oh my God.
I'm in love with this. I'm in love with this. Thank you, Ben Petrosor and Jeremy Crawford and Dan Dillon and everyone who I'm not remembering right now.
Yes.
So armor of magical strength, we got covered. Armor of tools. This is fantastic. As an action, a creature wearing their infused armor can integrate it into their artisan tool. This makes you, like, as the infiltrator, suddenly like a little lockpick sticks out.
Yeah.
Starts doing its thing. The wearer can add their intelligence modifier to any ability check it makes with the integrated tool. The wearer must have a hand free to do this. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that one. It's sort of like, it's also a bit of a, gives you some of that Warforged, you know, like the integration of the parts. So yeah, really cool for that one.
It reminds me of the Fifth Element. You know, that hand sticks out from the very beginning, and there's a key attached to the finger that unlocks the tome. Why do I never get to forget anything I see.
No, yeah. I mean, it's etched in, it's like it's carved in basalt. Your brain.
If I watch a movie, I don't forget a frame.
Yeah.
It's really weird. My parents used to test me. My dad only got me once on one movie, and it was it was literally a daily game to like show me one frame of any movie, and I would tell them what the movie was. And the guy was 7 years in Tibet because there's a very brief battle scene that's in 7 years in Tibet between the Chinese and Tibetan soldiers that looked like it was shot by somebody completely different than the rest of the film. And got me. So anyways, Helm of Awareness. While wearing this helmet, a creature has advantage on all initiative rolls. In addition, the wearer can't be surprised and provided it isn't incapacitated.
This is the one in 5th edition. This is the one power that I table ban, is not being able to be surprised. Like, there's a lot of things that I will allow, but like I'm trying, like weapons of warning, the alertness feat. No, no, thank you.
Alertness feat is pretty rough, especially now that we have so many other subclasses that give you a bonus to initiative.
Yeah,
I have certainly made an initiative Fisher.
Yes.
Which I gotta tell you, if you want to make your entire group tired of you being first, and
there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah, like, is it Gloomstalker that gets the initiative bonus? You get like a
Gloomstalker
+4,
gets wisdom.
probably.
Yeah, Gloomstalker gets wisdom. Plus, they get a bunch of extra actions that they can do on their first round, which I always forget. I'm playing Gloomstalker right now, and I always forget.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. You're almost an assassin. So you get that wisdom bonus. Then you got your dexterity. Then you have your alertness feat.
Yeah.
Oh man, just your group's gonna kill you.
They really are.
They really are. They're just gonna be. Oh, okay. Well, combat. You're up, Roy.
Yeah. Here he goes.
Mind Sharpener. The infused item can send a jolt to the wearer. I love this.
This was
jolt
my
to
favorite.
The wearer to refocus their mind while wearing this infused item. Whenever the creature fails a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on a spell, you can use your reaction to succeed instead. That's
legendary
fantastic.
Resistance for concentration on armor or robes.
Yeah.
Or robes. Yeah. I love this one. This is great.
Not OP either. Still great. Just like, why wouldn't you do it?
And what I love about this one is, all right, wizard, are you going to use your reaction for counterspell, or are you going to use it to keep concentration? And you can like force all those players who are all your counter spelling, keep your enemy casters shut down players on them. Like, yeah, give them one of these, give them all one of these, and then make them choose how to use their reaction. That's how I do it.
Yeah. So now we have spell refueling ring. While the
Yeah.
wearer, this is 6th level. While the wearer is wearing this ring, the creature can recover one expended spell slot as an action. The maximum level of the recovered slot is equal to the number of magical items the wearer is currently attuned to. Once used, the ring cannot be used again until the next
That's really
dawn.
cool.
That seems pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the spell refueling ring counts as one of the magic items.
I would say only the Artificer spell list. You've seen some chicanery there with the Warlock. Why you're tipping the Warlock at this point, I do not know.
Yeah, who knows?
If you're at 6th level, those are all really cool. I think these are all really cool. This rounds it out really nice.
Yeah,
I want this tomorrow.
Yeah,
yeah,
untouched. Don't change it.
No, it's such a beautiful baby right now.
What do you think? You think that the Thunder Gauntlets are going to get scaled back a bit, so like a once a turn kind of effect?
I don't know, because this is a good way to get killed, right?
Like, so sure, yeah, this is how you break your gesh, and you start getting sick, and you're gonna get.
You're gonna get punished, right? Like, I think I don't want it to. I think it's a charming ability.
Yeah.
You're giving a disadvantage to everybody else, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get the snot kicked out of you.
It's not like it comes without a cost, right? Like,
no, there are things that put you at more
D8
risk.
Hit die. You still got D8 hit dice.
Yeah. And that's one creature that you're hitting. Like, it's not everything around you.
Right.
So you focused on this creature. There are other abilities that do this. Mm-hmm. Certainly you can go around the room. How long does this last? Oh, it's until the next turn.
Yeah, it's just like it's like a.
So you could at most focus on 2. And
there
hit them
are cantrips
with this.
that have similar effects.
Yeah. This is not. I don't think this is abusive. I think it's very on theme. I love it. I like playing tanks. It's funny because I love tanks and I love playing stealth, and I don't really vary between those two. I'm either a super dumb tank, right? Or I'm doing super sneaky stealthy stuff, and this lets me be both depending on my mood.
Yeah. How much overlap do you see with like Eldritch Knight and those kinds of like? I see a lot there because
I'm okay with there being overlap. I think we have a lot of overlap with Hexblade and Eldritch Knight. I'm not worried about it at all, actually. I think that's good. Eldritch Knight is a different flavor. Certainly, Eldritch Knight could work for this.
Yeah,
you can pop off stuff, but like your connection to your armor isn't necessarily that huge.
Sure. It's sort of a similar way with like Arcane Trickster. It's like there's a lot of synergy, but not necessarily.
Oh, you mean like
over the top,
classing into it?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Subclassing into it. Let me.
There's a multi-class type thing.
Yeah. Let me. I haven't looked at Eldritch Knight in forever. I'm always trying to think of like the most manipulative way to use Shadowblade.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I'm a jerk. And there's no real great way to do that other than Bladesinger, and I'm just not into the Bladesinger. So
yeah, Bladesinger, and Bladesinger and Armor do not mix because of the Blade Song. Although with other types of wizards, like say Abjurer, an Abjurer armor is kind of sick. And I've had an now I know what I do because I've had an Abjurer for a long time. That is basically like this. They have magic armor that projects sort of a field that absorbs certain damage, and I've just sort of reskinned all of it to be their rune inscribed magic armor. But I might switch it up a bit and dip into Artificer and see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the Eldritch Knight, weapon bond's okay.
Yeah.
Beginning at 7th level, you can use your action to cast a cantrip. You can make one weapon attack as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Cantrip.
You're not feeling it?
No, it makes sense, but I wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to do the Arcane Trickster sneak attack with my lightning attacks, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, that creature has disadvantage on their next saving throw against a spell you cast. Oh, that's interesting. I really haven't looked at this a lot. There's a lot of synergy between this and what the Arcane Trickster does, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They really are brothers in that sense, siblings in that sense, so that they can both get disadvantage on spell saving throws.
Yeah, there's a lot of compliments there.
Yeah, yeah, and then clearly they were meant to be that way. Eldritch Knight, Arcane Trickster can just like, wreck when they want to do something like Mind Spike, right?
Right.
When things get real dirty. So, let's see. We got another question. What if you have a party of 5 tabaxis and powered armor? Could they all combine together? Yes.
Yeah, certainly.
Because you've broken your DM, and they might as well just give you what they want.
They agreed to. I mean, that's when I'd like we'd switch to probably playing another game. We just probably like, yep, all right, we're gonna go to the second table I prepped.
Why not just make Battle Turtle your shell is your armor at this point? Like, let's get really weird.
God.
Yeah, I mean, you are carrying your armor, your home. Yeah.
And then if you go into Rune Knight, you can get big and be a giant mechanized
turtle.
Yeah, like Mecha Bowser.
Yeah, Rune Knight's gonna get. Listen, I'm just calling it right now. Rune Knight is.
They're not gonna let you get huge.
Powerful, and they are going to tone that down because the Rune Knight can do anything.
Yeah.
Only better.
Just let me get at least huge.
Yeah.
Outside of polymorph.
Yeah. But those runes are bonkers. Like fire shackles. Yeah. Like I love all of it, and I want all of it. Like, no, that attack hits somebody else. Like, it's just everything. Rune Knight is everything. I think it's the better Eldritch Knight, to be honest.
It feels that way. It does feel that way.
And again, tall goblin, tall gnome, tall anything tiny, man. Come on. How can you say no?
Big goblin.
Big goblin is always
scary. I just love big goblin.
All right. That's all our time. We've spent it all on one subclass for the first time ever. I'm giving up Warlock, everyone.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Warlock. I loved you so much.
Yeah, but
Todd has to follow his heart, and it's not moving away from this now. I'm calling it. I am an Artificer Armorer for the rest of my life. I'm done. I'm going to start playing Vampire Masquerade now. No, I'm kidding. But I love it. This is just, it is so fun. I love it. I adore it. It's not too powerful. It's a good combo.
It's just right. Yeah. It's just right.
It's just what everyone wanted. And we've seen this a lot in UA. Like Rune Knight is what you want in Rune Knight.
Is what you want, yeah. There's only I can only think of one other artificer niche that I would want filled, and that's some kind of artificer that deals with cursed items. Either like cursing someone else's items, or decursing. Like, I don't know how yet, but it's something like
turning people's items against themselves. Wait, Lauren says all of these subclasses are yours except for the Circle of Stars. Attempt no Todd talks there. Use them together, use them in peace. What?
We're going to talk about the Circle of Stars.
We're going to talk about the Circle of Stars, and we're going to talk about the Fey Barbarian next week. I think Lauren is obsessed. Oh, Lauren's probably obsessed because she's obsessed with the Circle of Stars, by the way. Lauren Urban.
It looks awesome.
Oboe crazy. And flat out made the thumbnail for this video to be Circle of Stars. And now it makes me look real petty that I just refused. She pushed me so far. She sent me about 10 thumbnails of like 2001 references. And now I've refused to even mention the Circle of Stars. I'm just petty, I guess, and guilty. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I'm feeling very guilty now. I have failed Lauren. You don't want to fail Lauren. Lauren is like pure D&D goodness. Thank you everyone for watching. Sorry that we just talked about one subclass, but I love it and I don't care. I'm unapologetic about it.
Yeah. No apologies, no regrets.
All right. So next week I'm gonna see you.
Mr. Let's talk about the Circle of Stars and the Fey Wanderer.
Yeah, we'll jump in it. Maybe we'll invite Lauren to talk about it too.
Oh, hey, yes.
Maybe Lauren Urban can be on the show and talk about how much she likes the Circle of Stars. As always, check out WebDM. Just leave it playing. You will learn tons about D&D. They cover all kinds of topics like goblins, kobolds, how to play it. They strap scorpions on top of sticks. They have great intros. They discuss things like necromancy, and they talk about the most trying issues of our time when it comes to D&D and concepts so well know your DM.
Yeah.
So check out WebDM. They have a fantastic YouTube channel, and they have a really awesome Patreon as well, podcast, the whole deal. Everywhere that D&D is sold, you can find WebDM.
Boom.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.